Sorry, 33, 32, calling?
Yeah, I'm heading over to 32 to help them out where they want them.
Alek was born on November 3, 1992. Alek was described by neighbors as a child who had trouble making eye contact and who seemed to need extra parental care and attention. Alek went to 16th Avenue Public School when he was a child. At Thornley Secondary School, he went to a special needs class for kids on the autism spectrum. He was described as not overly social and harmless by his former classmates at Thornley Secondary School. Additionally, he was a target for bullying at school because of his quiet demeanor, sensitivity, and easily bothered. Alek stopped going outside after his parents gave him his first computer at the age of 15, which he had been requesting for a very long time. He would instead devote all of his spare time to playing video games. He moved to study at Seneca College, which is located in North York and is nearer Toronto City Centre, after completing his high school studies at Thornley High School. And he naturally felt compelled to work in the IT industry because he was following in his parents' footsteps. He therefore obtained a diploma in computer programming. He excelled in his coursework to the point where Seneca's Center for Development eventually offered him a part-time position as a research assistant. However, this offer didn't last long. Only a few months later, he turned in the role. He eventually accepted a part-time position as the quality assurance developer at Richmond Hill-based investment software company Too Good Financial Systems. But after 6 months, he was let go for unspecified reasons. He then got a short-term job at Omaha's, a pension fund company. But he never got a full-time job offer from them after finishing his placements. At the age of 24, Alek moved out of his parents' house for the first time in early September 2017. They had encouraged him to join the Army. So he left Seneca College one semester before he was supposed to finish his 7-year degree. Following his successful completion of the Canadian Armed Forces entrance examination, Alek reported for his first day of training at a military installation in Quebec. His recruited code was C2324961. However, things didn't go so well for Alek. Alek formally asked to be discharged after just 16 days of training. According to a senior military official, Alek wasn't adapting to military life, including in matters of dress, deportment, and group interactions in a military setting, and there were no red flags and nothing that would point to anything like this. He went back to Seneca College in 2017 to finish his formal education. Alek again tried to become friends with his new classmates, but he was unsuccessful in doing so. Nobody appeared to be enthused. He frequently cut off conversations in the middle or avoided eye contact when someone questioned him. He wasn't quite sure how to interact with people. However, it appeared that Alex's behavior began to change in an apparent way sometime between the end of 2017 and the beginning of 2018. In his interactions with people, anger and frustration began to slowly creep in where he had once been docile and vacant. In March of 2018, Alek got into a fight in one of his classes, and the following month, in April, when he graduated, he posted a message to his class saying, "Finally finished college. Fuck you all and good riddance." Back in the year of 2013, Elliot Rodger was still alive. He frequently posts on forums and various other subreddits devoted to the Incel community. People who identify as Incel define themselves as being unable to find a romantic or sexual partner despite desiring one. Even though there are also peaceful and joyful Incel, the general perception of them is that they are angry, frustrated, and lonely people. Elliot Rodger posted a 141-page manifesto to family and friends on May 23, 2014, before tragically killing 6 people. Following his murders, some users of the Incel forums online hailed Elliot as a hero, even the supreme gentleman and the king of the Incel. Alek Minassian's involvement in the Incel community is unknown, but by the end of 2013, when Elliot Rodger was still active in posting, Alek had joined as well. Alek Minassian did become friends with Elliot Rodger in January 2014. On an Incel subreddit, they connected and immediately struck up a conversation. The two discovered they had a lot in common, so they reportedly kept in touch quite frequently. Although Elliot and Alek never actually met, they did develop a strong friendship as a result of this, one that would last until May 20th, 2014. On that final day, Alek received a call from Rodger explaining that he needed to leave for a crucial mission and that he might not return alive. The Isla Vista massacre took place 4 days after this message. Alek continued with his Seneca College studies. He allegedly frequented the 4chan forum, which is another incel community. However, the level of moderation discussion on 4chan is extremely brash, derogative, and even violent. From this point on, as we know over the coming years, Alek will experience ups and downs in his academic performance, fail at several jobs, fail in the army, and fail at making friends. On April 23, 2017, Alek made a trip to the nearby truck rental facility, which was 16 kilometers from his home. He then requested to rent a truck to move his furniture out of his home when he got there. Alex's background investigation revealed nothing concerning, so he was approved to rent. He left with the keys to one of their trucks, but because he was inexperienced with driving, he asked one of the salespeople to demonstrate how to shift the van's gears. Alek remained in the van by himself for more than 20 minutes after he had left. Then, unexpectedly, a fresh Facebook post appeared on his profile. He posted the following: Private Recruit Minassian Infantry, 00010 wishing to speak to Sergeant 4chan, please. C2324961. The Incel rebellion has already begun. We will overthrow all the Chads and Stacys. All hail the Supreme Gentleman Elliot Rodger. Despite the ambiguity of his message, it was obvious that something wasn't quite right. Alek accelerated out of the rental company's parking lot. He was moving directly toward Toronto's downtown. The attack began at the Yonge Street and Finch Avenue intersection and moved south along the sidewalks of Yonge Street until it was close to Shepherd Avenue. The first policeman to respond to Alek's rampage was Officer Ken Lamb. With his gun pointed at Alek, Ken jumped out of the police car. Alek drew back, and it appeared that the two were immediately prepared to engage in a gunfight. But Ken sensed that something wasn't quite right. Alek was holding a gun that was clearly out of the ordinary. Alek then repeatedly drew and withdrew his gun in an attempt to intimidate the officer, but by this time Ken had already realized that the gun was Alek's wallet. Before he reappeared and started to approach Alek in the open, Ken reached into his car to grab his baton. Alek followed Ken Lam into the street after biting the bait. With the suspects now out in the open, he lowered his gun, pulled out his baton, changed his stance, and moved firmly in Alek's direction. Alek quickly stepped back, dropped his wallet, and raised his arms. And surrender. Alek was captured without the use of any firearms. After the attack, Alex's Facebook post spread quickly across the internet. That the military ID did indeed belong to Alek as well was quickly confirmed by the Department of National Defense. And shortly after, police officers would learn that 10 civilians had lost their lives. Alek Minassian would be officially charged with 10 counts of murder the very next day. He would also face 16 counts of attempted murder. However, he would have to go through an initial interrogation before his official charges.
And I've done a little bit of reading, and I know a little bit about involuntary
celibacy.
Celibacy, right? So being celibate, involuntarily celibate. What does that mean?
That means celibacy means someone who never has sexual intercourse.
Right.
Involuntary celibacy means this wasn't your choice. You essentially have been thrown into true forced loneliness, and you're unable to lose your virginity.
Right.
This is especially painful for young males.
When specifically did you first contact or have contact with Elliot?
January of 2014.
2014. And when did you stop having communication with him?
As soon as he was deceased.
Okay. So his act, I know took place in 2014, but I wasn't aware of the exact day. What day was it?
May 23, 2014.
May 23rd. Yeah, you said that. So when did you last speak to him?
May 20.
May 20th. And so what did he tell you?
He told me that he has to go. He is on a very important mission, and he might not make it back alive.
And so what did you say to him?
I kind of had an idea in my head of what he was planning, but I didn't want to think it was true at the time. So I replied and said, I wish you good luck with that.
Right on. Okay. I'm going to ask you this because it's important. 10 people died here today. 15 people were seriously injured. I think it's important to ask how you feel about that.
I feel like I accomplished my mission.
You feel like you accomplished your mission?
Yes.
Okay. If the families of those people who were murdered and who were injured were in this room right now, what would you say to them?
I honestly don't know what I would say.
Would you apologize?
I honestly don't know.
It was learned that 8 of the 10 victims were female, which oddly fit Alex's plan too well. His parents were also hurting, as they would later learn about the terrible attack from watching the news. They were a quiet, loving couple who kept to themselves, and now they would both have to accept the hard truth that their son was a murderer. The pandemic forced a postponement of Alek Minassian's trial, which was initially set for February 10, 2020. It was delayed until March 2nd, after which it was eventually pushed back to April 6th and then again to November. But when Alek went on trial, his defense argued that Alex was incapable of making a rational decision at the time of the van attack because of his autism spectrum disorder diagnosis. According to Alek's attorney, the disorder prevented him from understanding what he was morally doing wrong. The prosecution, however, would adamantly disagree with this statement and claim that his disorder did not motivate him to carry out the attack. The trial will last 6 weeks and be conducted entirely via video conference due to the pandemic. Alek himself pleaded not guilty to 10 counts of first-degree murder and 16 counts of attempted murder. Alek was formally found guilty of all counts of first-degree murder and attempted murder on March 3, 2021. The entire verdict is delivered live on YouTube. Alek was given a life sentence without the chance of parole for 25 years on June 13, 2022. The following month, he submitted a notice of appeal, claiming, among other things, that the trial judge misapprehended expert evidence and made unreasonable findings. Alek Minassian murdered 10 innocent people. He had not met a single one of them in his life before. Each victim was not the target of a personal vendetta. It was merely carried out to incite more hate, fear, and division. Alek Minassian follows Elliot Rodger as an incel that the world will laugh at and then forget. If you found this video interesting, then please like the video and subscribe to the channel. What do you think about the case of Alek Minassian?